Hi, it's Driveway DIY here. It's just another small bit of advice, bit of testing to do with these GM Vauxhall coil cassettes. As a DIYer, you're very limited to the information you can get if your car is like misfiring or not running right or whatever. As most DIYs do, they go running out and buy new spark plugs, new leads, new coil pack, all that sort of stuff. They don't have expensive £1,000 picoscopes. They don't have all this software and equipment that a lot of YouTubers have when they do their channels. You know, you go on there and you think, oh, I've got a problem with my car, I'm going to see how to test a coil pack or whatever, and you think you're on the right channel, and suddenly they come out with this like 10 grand's worth of picoscope, and you're like, bloody hell, you know, I haven't got that, I can't do the tests, now I'm stuck. So what most DIYs do, they go down the scrapyard or go to the shop or whatever. This is mainly for your scrapyard buyers. You go down, you go find another GM model or a Vauxhall model, and you take one of these cassettes off and you try and put that on, but you're not armed with any sort of data, you're not armed with any specs, because you can't find all the information, because you're not savvy to the information, you're not privy to the information, you don't understand the information, all that sort of stuff. So before you go and start grabbing parts and changing parts, it's worth doing a quick test on some of these modules, just to see what information, you know, if there's any obvious breakdowns of these components or whatever. I mean, this one's come off a Vauxhall Corsa 1.2, so it's a 4-cylinder. It's a 6-pin module, so it's a very, very basic module. Obviously, when you take one of these off, you know, if you've got a problem with poor running, you look at your spark plugs, make sure there's no obvious signs of breakdown or them, but you take off your module, so you're looking for meltings, you're looking for split ends, white where it's been arcing, any obvious signs. But one of the things I'm looking for is perhaps do a spark test or whatever on there, if you're into that sort of thing, if you can do that sort of thing, if you've got a test light or a way of seeing if there's spark coming out. But obviously with some of these things you get spark quite often, but it's still a problem with the cassette itself. So one of the things I look for is continuity, resistance readings or whatever. So when you go down to the scrap heap, you can compare your old module with the module. You're going to pick up and see if the reading's the same or if it's anything drastic. Get yourself a pen and paper as well to write some of this down. So this is a very simple test. All I'm doing is looking for ohms tests, continuity between each one of the coils. So I've got it set up to pin 1, which I believe is the voltage supply to each coil. So what I'm looking for, hopefully you can get a read of my voltmeter. So set to ohms, I've got it 20 kiloohms. So what I'm doing is I've got it set to pin 1. So I'm just looking for a resistance test and making sure that they're the same. You know, write down each of your readings as you go. Each one. I mean, this is a good cassette from what I can gather. So the readings are very, very, very similar. Write each one down as you go. So as you can see, the resistance is all the same all the way through. It's very unusual that all of them will go. It's usually 1 or 2, usually 1 probably. So you can take those readings down to the scrap heap, the breaker's yard, and for the one you pull out, compare it, because if all the readings are the same, it's very unlikely that there's anything wrong with this and there's something else. Obviously look for pins as well, continuity between pins. You know, you don't know your specs, you don't know, you know, as a DIYer, as a pro you would do, because you can get that information, you can compare it to manufacturer's specs. But as a DIY, you're just looking for something simple to take with you, to arm with you. So I'm comparing these pins, secondary pins, so I'm looking for resistance between each pins. let's disconnect that. So I don't know if you can see that. It's probably difficult to see because it's quite dark in there, but there's 6 pins in there. So I'm trying to get resistance continuity. Obviously check your pins first, make sure your voltmeter's working. Now you've got resistance, so I've got resistance there. So I'm going from pin 2 to the next pin. There you go, got resistance to the pin after that. Pin after that. Looking for any sort of obvious signs of breakdown. Obviously this is not going to pick up everything. You know, if you have the right software, the right picoscopes and various other things, you're going to pick up a lot more. You might going to see the small variables of these sort of things. So don't be too harsh on me to say, well, this could go wrong, that could go wrong. I don't have a 10 grand's worth of picoscope or whatever, how much they cost. I'm a DIYer, that's what you got to remember. And most DIYers change parts this way. You know, they're looking for an easy fix before they spend hundreds of pounds in the garage for new parts. If they can fix it on the driveway, this is great, and this is a start for 10 for trying doing it. Obviously if you caught water to a blank, then you might have to take it, get better advice, but YouTube and all that sort of thing, you know, Google is great for more advice, but looking for obvious signs of breakdown, you know, look at it, see if there's any sign of arcing or white spots or cracks or melting or anything like that to see. But usually when these things gone, it's usually one will go, and you can see the resistance changing there straight away. But that's a start for 10 anyway. It might help you when you're trying to diagnose this sort of thing. But always look for resistance breakdown and windings or resistance changes. You know, there might be one number on one, same on the other two, and one is a completely different reading, and that would perhaps point you in the right direction for changing the actual ignition module. But that's about it for this really. It's a very simple test, hopefully for DIYers mainly, not pros, DIYers. This will help you out a little bit, because it's helped me out in the past. So don't be a parts changer, try and diagnose these things the best way you can. But that's all I'm going to say on this. Get one of these, costs 15 quid. It makes your life easier for testing all sorts of stuff, full resistance, various other voltages. Get a test light as well, that'll help you for testing spark. Make sure you know what you're doing, don't electrocute yourself. My name's Driveway DIY. Hopefully this helps. Thanks for watching. Constructive comments underneath if you want to comment. Check out my other stuff as well, some of it might help you, mainly for the DIYer or novice DIYer. Thanks for watching.